Hi, everybody. My name is James Felton Keith. I'm with Cyberfense. We're at cyberfense.com. I want to talk to you about a few things today. I think I could talk about Cyberfense for about an hour, but we only have 7 minutes or 6 minutes and 48 seconds. So I want to get right into it. And as I do it, I'd love for you to keep one word in mind above all others, and that's standardization. So Cyberfense is started as a British company, and now we're here in the US also. We have an office in New York, and I'm the Executive Vice President here at Cyberfense. And here we may already be logged on. I guess this is the difference between not having slides. So Cyberfense is a one-stop shop for dynamic compliance and insurance. So it's sort of the combination of regulatory tech and InsurTech. I myself come from the regulatory side. I think about a good 20 to 25 years ago, I would consider myself a prolific hack. And over time, I've turned into a process engineer, and more recently, I'm an insurance guy, looking at how we identify risk company by company throughout their growingly complex and growingly interconnected ecosystems. And so Cyberfense is a comprehensive, non-invasive assessment tool, or at least that's where it started. And as we've grown over the years away from compliance, we've grown more into insurers' best friends. So at the very beginning of our process, when we meet, it's a bit noisy back there, when we meet new clients, they come to Cyberfense like any normal assessments process and identify themselves, right? So they are identifying what sort of company they are, how big they are, what industry they're in. Since we're here today, I'll turn Cyberfense, or my demo company, to a finance and insurance company in the insurance carrier sector. And I'll pick another couple of criterion about my firm to identify myself. Now, in the cyber compliance space, a lot of companies are using methods like this to give themselves a security score. You'll see things like this at websites like BitSite and Security Scorecard, et cetera. Often, insurers have tried to underwrite premium based on this vague information. But at Cyberfense, we've developed a method to do a deep dive into 43 different risk domains. And you'll see those as I scroll through here. Some of them are populated, some of them are not. In each risk domain, it's necessary to prove how you engage those risk domains. And the data that we are able to collect on institutions and their growing supply chains is allowing us to better identify risk first and then build methodologies to transfer that risk, which is obviously the objective of insurance. But our unique model in using some of the language that was used on the panel before me and creating a frictionless environment is by partnering with insurers, and we have partnered with 2 of the top 10 insurance carriers on the planet over the course of the past 6 months. We see them leveraging large groups of brokers to turn them from your standard insurance brokers to relatively knowledgeable cybersecurity salespeople. And we do that by getting rid of the old static process of, and some of you probably remember this, a group of consultants come to your office, they do a series of interviews, and they leave you with a static document or 2 about what your cyber ecosystem looks like. This is a dynamic tool that's, again, it's non-invasive, so this is the end entity, the company, taking this assessment, and upon taking the assessment in an automated fashion, our app, through this exposure link, will derive what your ideal next steps are to become more cyber competitive. And when I say cyber competitive, you can use the old analogy of an unlocked car in a mall parking lot is more likely to be robbed than, the cars next to it. So per that, I'm just watching the time. Get away from me here. Per that, these recommendations from our application, our capacity app and our ability to evaluate what our highest risks are customer by customer really empower our workforce or peer force of brokers to pick out ailments company by company and start to make recommendations about how they grow. Now, ultimately, this is a sales tool for brokers that help them not necessarily sell the variance in insurance contracts or cyber insurance contracts, contract by contract, but start to have a regular engagement with customers about how they can grow. But on the back end, the data that we're allowed to gather company by company and share with their carriers help them do a much better job of understanding what in fact risk is and how they want to transfer that risk via some form of contract. I don't know if you all can see all of the details on the screen, but this particular tab called Capability is allowed to look at each one of the risk domains. Some of you see level 1, level 2, level 3, level 0. Obviously, the reds are the worst. And through each one of these, we're able to also look at how a firm crosswalks or maps to regulations that they might care about more. So if you're a healthcare provider, you might care about how you stack up for HIPAA. If you're someone else, you might be looking at NIST. You might care about COVID or the ISO standard, et cetera. And so that's a wrap on time. But can I run on, guys? Then we have someone drop. Is that TMI? Okay, go for a minute. So, in closing, I just like to stress that the compliance and regulatory environment is changing day by day. At this point, every company is recognized by legislators, by regulators as a data company. And as data rights change and new regulations, whether it's from the GDPR on down to New York's Department of Financial Services cyber reg, companies are being incentivized more and more to identify what their cyber risk is and try to not only manage that risk, but also try to transfer that risk through some form of insurance. And so as that is our new reality, and as the world is becoming more interconnected with regards to how suppliers transact data with whoever their peer firms are, it is becoming more and more necessary to understand the large ecosystem of how firms plan to protect that information and secure their walls, for lack of better phrases. So we have a booth. Two of my colleagues are here as well over on the side of this room, and we'd love to talk in gory detail about how Cyberfense works, who the ideal use cases and customers are, and how we're growing both here in the United States and in the EU. Thank you.